Hey everybody, Colton with Avatar Offroad. We're installing our VS30 Headliner Shelf today. We're also going to go over the difference between this and our NCV3, so you can see the bracketry differences. Now you might be asking yourself, why do you need a headliner shelf? Key reason is that there's a lot of dead space above the driver and passenger seats, and this is a great way of creating another almost foot of storage up there in an otherwise unused area. You can put anything. I've had people use it anywhere from backpacks to a full pantry, putting all of their food and supplies for a weekend getaway. This is a headliner shelf that's been installed in a client's that they've been using. They let us show. So they've got a whole bunch of various toiletries and paper cups and such. Great use for that space. They've also got a privacy curtain that they've installed. And as you can see, this is actually quite a lot of storage space for a full-time van lifer. Since van life is all about maximizing our space in our tight living quarters, because the vans just aren't that big, any available space we can create out of relatively unused area of the van is a super good benefit for us. Lots of storage and lots of options of how to do it. Because of the way that this front was designed, I can even hang off this once it's in. You'll see that later. What I have laid out in front of me, these are for the VS30. So if you zoom in here we have the rear bracket that's going to be mounted on the B pillar. There's left and rights, and from your point of view, this is the top, this is the bottom. There's a little L and or R, and those are cut so they read correctly when you have them on the correct side. So left being driver, right being passenger. So this one, you have a correctly reading L and a wrong reading right. So this will be a left bracket. This one has a correctly reading right, but a wrong L. So that would be your right bracket. This is the front bracket, going to be mounted where the grab bar bolts in. And then we have our curtain rod bracket, left and right. If you have an NCV3, the brackets will look like this. These are your B-pillar brackets, and these are your grab bar brackets. They're actually straight. There's no left and right for these. Here we have our curtain rod. Hardware, you're going to come with a pack of Allen bolts. You're going to need a T30, T25, and a 5/32 Allen to install this. For installation purposes, there are nuts already installed, so you don't have to hold anything while you're installing this headliner shelf. You can just screw it in using only the bolt side. This little retention bump acts as both a stiffener and it keeps things from sliding too far forward while you're traveling, because nothing stays put. The seal along the front is quite a tight fit, so very little should ever be able to fall through there. You can use this front space, but as far as accessibility, reaching over, most things will be kept behind this, and that's actually really nice. So I'm 5'6", not wearing any shoes right now, and I can reach right to the edge of that stop that I was telling you about, this little bump. So anything that happened to roll further than that, if something did get up there, I would then have to get up onto a stool or something. So the reason that that bump is in that location is because those of us who are not 6'6", we can actually still reach everything that's up here. There's actually 3 small holes in this. That is so that if you ever wanted to, you could put recessed lighting or a piece of wood trim to match the rest of your van and give it a nice finished look. The first thing we're going to install is our curtain rod and brackets. So we're going to take a couple bolts out of our hardware kit here and grab our 5/32 Allen. So we're going to install our bracket. So we're going to take one of our brackets and one of our bolts. And it's easiest if you do the top bolt first. The bracket is going to be wide, so the flange is going to be to the outside of the headliner shelf. We're going to just get this guy started. Grab another bolt, get the other one started, and then we can finish tightening. Leave it just a little bit loose before you finish tightening so that it can just barely move. There's not a lot of adjustment, but that'll allow the curtain rod to go in place more easily. I'm going to go over to the other side and then do the same process over here. Now that our brackets are installed, we're going to install our curtain rod. We're threaded on both ends, so we're going to get one side started, just hanging onto the curtain rod while we do so. Once it's started, we can leave that loose and just go to the other side. And then we'll just tighten that down. And then we can finish tightening as well our brackets. The first thing I want to start with is here on the B-pillar, our little coat hooks. I'm gonna kind of pull up on this rubber trim. It's just kind of hooked on the bottom, so just kind of wiggle it, pull it up. That'll reveal a T25 Torx head screw. So we're gonna just take our T25, we're gonna unscrew this guy, and we're gonna take this little bracket off. We're gonna repeat this process on the other side so that we can be ready over there as well. We're gonna start with our brackets now. Again, this one I can read the R correctly, so that's a right, so leave it over here on the right. And then this one, our L reads correctly on the left, so that is gonna be our left. When installing this bracket, you have two positional options. It's a little bit easier to find the hole if you mount this on the outside, and it's a little bit cleaner if you place the bracket behind. So either way it will work, so it's just kind of up to you. There's a round hole and a square hole. The round is what the bolt's gonna go through, and the square is gonna catch this little hook, and that keeps it from rotating. So slide the bracket down until you can locate that bolt hole, and then start your bracket into place. You can leave this just a little loose for now, because we'll final tighten it later, and rock this bracket back just a little. We're now going to repeat the same process on the driver's side. We're going to slide the bracket in from behind. Again, we don't need to fully tighten it, and we're going to rotate it back out of the way. Next, we're going to work on our front brackets. So we're going to start with this bolt here. We're going to break this loose and then spin this all the way out. And we're going to repeat that on the other side. This van we're working in is a completely empty cargo van, so installing this headliner shelf is very simple. If you, however, have a large cabinet behind the driver's seat that goes floor to ceiling and encumbers our access to this side, because the headliner shelf is going to slide straight in. Now, if you have that, it makes it a little more difficult. You can put the driver's side brackets in place, but on the passenger side, we're actually going to need to remove the entirety of the visor and grab bar section. So you're going to remove, there's two T30 bolts here. And then if we open up our visor, straight underneath this, there's a T25, and then there's another T25 back here. And you'll have to remove the entire visor, get the headliner mostly in place, and put the visor back in place, all kind of at the same time. It's totally doable, but it does take a little more effort. Then we're going to look for our driver's side bracket and our passenger side bracket, which will be identified by a left and a right. So we're going to take our right bracket, put it on the passenger side. We're going to take our left bracket with an L, put it on our driver's side. We're going to take our bracket, and we're going to pull back slightly on this, and it'll lock in. There's actually a piece on the back side there that'll hold it kind of so it doesn't move. We're going to rotate that to the front. We're using our T30 to work on our front bolts here for these front brackets and put our bolt back in. Again, we don't need to fully tighten this, just get it run all the way in so that this can still move. Repeat that on the other side with our other bracket. Pull away, slide that in, lock that in, get our bolt started with this rotated to the front. We're rotating this to the front so that we have more clearance for the headliner shelf when it goes in. It's a really nice tight fit. With all four brackets now in place, we can take our headliner shelf, slide it in, and then we're going to rotate our front two brackets and then our back two brackets. Now there's a little bit of movement, but not a lot. So just push it all the way to the front. And then we're going to grab the last four bolts and our 5/32 Allen. And we're going to install these bolts up into the already there nuts. So repeat this on the other side. You're going to do the same thing to the back here. I haven't actually final tightened any of this. Once you've got all four of those upper bolts in place, go ahead and tighten down those four bolts securing the headliner shelf, and then go back through and we're going to tighten our two rear T25s and the front T30s These rear T25s that we're tightening, it's actually a plastic insert that we're tightening into, so no need to go crazy on over tightening. Just choke up on your wrench and give it a nice snug. And then the very last thing is to put the rubber coat hanger cover, just slide it down, give it a little wiggle, it'll grab on the bottom, and you're done. One thing you'll notice is just how nice and tight a fit we have all along the entire front. The reason that matters is because any small objects that you place up in the headliner shelf, if they were to get loose, they could roll forward and then fall down through this gap if there were one. You'll notice that there really isn't a gap. You can kind of see that by looking from above while we have a bright light from below. Barely can see the light come through. The headliner shelf is designed to fit the face of this flush to the headliner dome. If you have a cabinet or anything that comes up really nice and tight and you don't want the headliner, the curtain rod, you could just omit that and it would still fit. At the center, we have 10.5 inches of clear and 12.5 inches of storage space up here at the front. Width is the full width. Depth is the full depth. Large enough to fit most suitcases and or sleeping bag, throw pillows, all the really fun stuff. With our headliner shelf fully installed, we could give it a test pull if you want. And that concludes our headliner shelf installation.